This is a world of summoned beasts. Everyone has a chance to become a powerful summoner. On the school beauty's first contract summoning, she triggered extraordinary heavenly phenomena. Everyone thought she would summon a fearsome ancient demon god, but what finally descended was only a weak and fragile low-level skeleton soldier. This scene directly caused the entire school's teachers and students to burst into laughter. Even the principal, who had been full of eager anticipation, was almost angered into fainting on the spot. However, you, as the skeleton itself, looked down at the crowd below with contempt, your eyes filled with disdain. Why not quickly address this sovereign as the demon god? Because you had long awakened the Parasitic Demon God System. As long as you fully urged Su Qinghe to cultivate, you could receive double the cultivation return rewards. When the system progress reached 100%, you could break free from the skeleton shell and become a true demon god dominating the heavens. So you immediately transformed into the school beauty's personal demon coach, either urging Su Qinghe to cultivate, or on your way to push her to cultivate. But 3 months later, Su Qinghe, who had been completely tamed by you, was crying and begging to return you. She was clearly the contract master. How had things completely reversed? When had it become normal for a summon to beat its master? It turned out that in this world, humans could contract summon beasts to fight alongside them. Today is the day for the contractual summoning of the commoner goddess, Su Qinghe. And since she had consistently ranked first in various subjects, as long as she could awaken a B rank or above summon, she could soar to great heights and be directly recommended to top domestic universities. Su Qinghe stood calmly on the summoning platform, her red lips slightly parted as she chanted the obscure summoning incantation, all the divine demons and myriad races traversing the heavens. Please heed my call, descend to this realm, and form a sacred contract with me. As her voice faded, the previously sunny sky instantly became turbulent. The light and shadow in the sky changed drastically, turning dim. A massive pitch-black mysterious vortex slowly appeared above the summoning platform. A recruitment teacher from a top domestic university was already staring wide-eyed in shock, murmuring in disbelief. Could this be the legendary birthplace of demon gods? The necromantic demon realm. The other recruitment teachers saw this and were instantly overjoyed. You should know that necromantic summons from the necromantic demon realm had never had anything below first-tier potential. But as 1 minute, 2 minutes, 10 minutes passed, the necromantic demon realm above Su Qinghe still showed no reaction, just as everyone thought. Something had gone wrong. A mysterious contract formed from a dark golden light finally appeared before Su Qinghe. The next moment, a gaunt figure appeared before everyone. What else could it be but a low-level skeleton soldier? The principal, who had been full of anticipation just moments ago, almost fainted from anger. Instantly, the entire school burst into laughter. With such a grand display at the start, I thought it was some high-level summon. Turns out it's just a fragile F-rank skeleton soldier. Stop it. Didn't you see the faces of those recruitment teachers? They've all turned green. At this moment, the university recruitment teachers, who had been full of anticipation, were now shaking their heads repeatedly. Thought it was a good prospect. Sigh, what a pity. However, you, who were currently the center of everyone's discussion, almost cried out loud. Having transmigrated to that god-forsaken necromantic demon realm for 1,000 years, I finally got out. All of this started with that inexplicable transmigration 1,000 years ago. Good news, you transmigrated. Bad news, you didn't transmigrate as a human, but as a damn skeleton soldier. Even worse news, you were trapped in a god-forsaken place called the necromantic demon realm for a full 1,000 years. The moment the necromantic demon realm's passage opened, you shoved aside all the other undead, and at the very last moment, you rushed out of that sunless place, although you knew you would be contracted. As for what would happen after being contracted, whether you would be treated like a beast of burden, you didn't care at all. What could be more painful than 1,000 years of loneliness? Please trample me all you want, my queen. At the same time, you heard Su Qinghe's slightly disappointed voice. Are you willing to form a master-servant contract with me? I am willing. These 3 words. You almost blurted out instinctively. But at that moment, a mechanical system prompt sounded in your mind. Parasitic Demon God System bound successfully. The master-servant contract has been automatically revised to a parasitic contract. Note 1. Every time the contractee improves in cultivation or martial skills, or gains opportunities or treasures, the host can receive 1 to 10 times critical return rewards. Note 2. As the Parasitic Demon God host, any behavior that violates parasitic principles will incur negative effects. At the same time, behaviors that aid in parasitism will also receive additional rewards. Hearing this, you were overjoyed. With this golden finger, wouldn't you be turning the tables from now on? But Su Qinghe didn't notice anything unusual about you, only a bitter smile curling at her lips, contrasting with the discussions below, and the malicious schadenfreude of some people. The one who felt the worst was Su Qinghe. Her years of almost desperate efforts now seemed to have become a joke. Let's go. Little White, that was the name she gave you, because your bones were all grayish white at the moment. Though disappointed, Su Qinghe didn't take it out on her weak and strange summon, but the next second, something happened that no one expected. Upon hearing the summon, you not only didn't obey, but slowly stood up instead, your skeletal hands clasped behind your back. Human, please address me as Demon God. Su Qinghe was stunned. The teachers and students present were stunned. All the recruitment teachers were stunned. Holy crap, the skeleton can talk. To be fair, that was some cringy dialogue. If not for the skeleton frame being a bit of an eyesore, it would actually have some kingly aura. At this moment, the previously silent recruitment teachers lit up with eager anticipation again. Could this summon still have a twist? 5 minutes later. Ding. Skeleton soldier. Low-level undead creature, F-rank potential testing instrument. The cold mechanical voice once again extinguished everyone's hopes. The recruitment teachers also put away the contracts they had already taken out. Before recruiting outstanding students, domestic universities would evaluate the students' potential. Based on the assessed potential, they would offer corresponding level resource contracts. Originally based on Su Qinghe's previous performance, getting a top-tier contract shouldn't have been a problem. But given the current situation, after reassessing the recruitment teachers present, the contracts offered were basically D rank. The only C rank came from the lowest ranked school present. Compared to the previous starting A rank, the gap was like heaven and earth. A D rank contract was worth about 1 million. An A rank contract had a paper value of at least 30 million. Not to mention some hidden special benefits. At this moment, it was impossible for Su Qinghe not to feel sad. As an orphan, Su Qinghe needed resources the most right now. A mere 1 million was nothing but a drop in the bucket in cultivation. Alright, each one of you so stingy. So what if there was a little mistake? What does it matter? A charming and alluring woman walked over. This was Liu Piao from the Magic Martial University admissions office. Also the recruitment teacher who had admired Su Qinghe the most, in her opinion. A girl who had lost both parents as a child and grew up in an orphanage could achieve first place in all subjects through her own efforts. Liu Piao believed that Su Qinghe shouldn't be dismissed just because of her contract's low rank. After all, even if she couldn't walk the path of a summoner, Su Qinghe could still pursue martial cultivation. In the end, Liu Piao braved the pressure and signed Su Qinghe with a B-rank contract. As the recruitment teachers from various martial universities left one by one, this tumultuous farce finally came to an end. At this moment, only Su Qinghe and you remained face to face. You don't like the name Little White. After holding it in for a while, having composed herself, Su Qinghe blinked and whispered. You didn't know what to say. Your contractee seemed a bit adorably clueless. The scene shifted. You followed Su Qinghe to the neighborhood where she lived. It was an old residential building with badly damaged walls, long in disrepair. Looking at the dangerous building that seemed like it could collapse at any moment, you couldn't help but curl your lips. This girl, Su Qinghe, was even worse off than you in your past life. Just then, an old woman carrying a vegetable basket walked out of the stairwell, seeing you behind Su Qinghe. The old woman was startled. Oh, little girl, that summon of yours looks really creepy. Why didn't you put it in the summoning space? He doesn't seem to want to go in. Su Qinghe's face was awkward. She had tried to persuade you all the way, but you stubbornly refused to enter the summoning space. You were joking. You had already spent 1,000 years in that sunless, necromantic demon realm. Now that you had finally regained your freedom, you didn't want to be trapped again in that empty summoning space. After parting ways with the old woman, you followed Su Qinghe upstairs. At the same time, you also learned that this was a dangerous high martial world. To survive long in this world, you still had to rely on this girl, Su Qinghe. A parasitic contract was still a contract. If something happened to Su Qinghe, you wouldn't escape either. But what exactly constituted a parasitic behavior as defined by the system? You were pondering this when Su Qinghe's soft voice came from above. Aren't you coming up? Seeing her small nervous face, looking a bit lost, you had an idea. Pretending to be weak, you said, I'm tired. I can't walk anymore. How about you carry me upstairs? Su Qinghe's eyes widened. She waved her hands frantically. No, I can't do that. How about I hold your hand and lead you up? So you seized the moment and happily took Su Qinghe's soft little hand. It seemed this was the first time you had shown obedience. Su Qinghe's steps up the stairs felt much lighter. At the same time, the system prompt sounded in your mind. Reverse PUA Master conforms to parasitic behavior guidelines. Congratulations, you have obtained True Yuan Breathing Method, Perfect Edition, Detailed Explanation. In the blink of an eye, you and Su Qinghe had entered the house. You immediately barged into Su Qinghe's bedroom and took over the only pink little bed in the room. Su Qinghe was at a loss for words at your actions. The teacher never mentioned that summons had the habit of stealing their master's bed. If you don't like the name Little White, what should I call you? Ning Ye. You can also call me Lord Ye. Su Qinghe wanted to say more, but you cut her off. You should cultivate Little Master. Before Su Qinghe could react, you had already pressed her onto the special training mat in the center of the living room. If you don't work hard, what will we do if we get bullied later? If we encounter danger? You can't expect me. A weak, helpless, pitiful skeleton to save you right. For yourself and for me. Keep going. Having transformed into a strict coach, after your barrage of words, Su Qinghe had no room to argue, and could only obediently enter a cultivation state. However, you gradually frowned. This dance isn't standard enough. This one's PowerPoint is wrong. This one is even more ridiculous. It doesn't even stimulate the meridians properly. Through the True Yuan breathing method, perfect addition, detailed explanation, just rewarded by the system. You could immediately see all the flaws in Su Qinghe's cultivation process. You decisively got off the bed and found a wooden stick, coming to Su Qinghe's side. After glancing again at Su Qinghe's movements, the wooden stick precisely struck a spot on Su Qinghe's left shoulder. Su Qinghe suddenly jolted awake, looking at you in confusion. You didn't explain. Your voice carried an undeniable tone. Use this muscle to exert force. Bend your elbow another 8.5 degrees. Seeing Su Qinghe frozen in place, you didn't hesitate to strike again with the stick. No questioning, just do it. Su Qinghe pouted her little mouth, then drowsily followed your instructions and repositioned herself. But with just a slight adjustment, she immediately felt the difference. The coordination of muscles throughout her body was noticeably smoother. The flow of heat through her meridians also increased significantly. Su Qinghe was marveling at this when you struck again with the stick, landing on a certain important soft spot behind her, along with a tingling pain. Su Qinghe's beautiful little face instantly flushed red. You would not indulge her. Not the slightest trace of tenderness toward the woman. For the next half hour, various crisp slapping sounds rang continuously in the cramped little room. No daydreaming. Continue practicing the next move. Move your left foot forward 1 inch. Tuck in your abdomen and arch your waist. With such clumsiness, you dare call yourself a genius. Practice it 10 more times. Every part of Su Qinghe's body had received your whip. Su Qinghe finally couldn't hold it together. Crystal clear tears kept dripping down. Boo-hoo, I want to return, I want to return. My summon is rebelling. But facing Su Qinghe, who was crying and protesting with red eyes, you didn't hesitate to strike again. No complaining. Continue. The aggrieved Su Qinghe had no choice but to obediently continue. It wasn't until late at night that you finally let Su Qinghe off. Alright, that's enough for tonight. Su Qinghe immediately felt as if she had been granted a reprieve, and collapsed onto her pink little bed, her face full of relief at having survived. On the other side, the system prompt sounded in your mind. Detected contractee. Su Qinghe's cultivation increased by 0.6 levels. Cultivation feedback in progress. Ding. This critical multiplier is 3 times. You will receive 3 times the cultivation progress of Su Qinghe. As soon as the system sound ended, your cultivation level also went from the original level 1, instantly rising to level 3. You were very satisfied with today's results, and secretly resolved that urging Su Qinghe to cultivate hard was an urgent matter. Meanwhile, Su Qinghe, who had nearly been trained to exhaustion, had also recovered a bit. She immediately calmed her mind to check the results of this cultivation session. The next moment, the girl jumped up from the bed in surprise, her beautiful little face full of disbelief. 0.6 levels in just 2 hours. I actually increased by 0.6 levels. You should know. She used to train for 2 days and not even increase by 0.1 levels. But the surprised girl was immediately lifted up by you the next moment. After cultivating for so long, you're all sweaty. Go wash up quickly. Although Su Qinghe didn't smell bad. On the contrary, she had a unique milky fragrance of a young girl. But after you said that, a frightened Su Qinghe immediately fled into the bathroom. Before closing the door, she even poked her little head out. Lordji, thank you for tonight. She knew very well that her sudden rapid progress in cultivation must have been thanks to your guidance just now. Although the process had made the young girl blush, while waiting for Su Qinghe to bathe, you naturally picked up her water cup under the pretext of calcium supplementation. 10 minutes later, Su Qinghe walked out of the bathroom and saw you using her cup, but she didn't show any displeasure. What could she do with her own summon? She could only spoil it. The system prompt sounded at this moment. Eating the master's food. Using the master's things. Turning the tables. Parasitic requirements met. Reward Decayed Alchemy Manual X1. Instantly you felt your head heat up. A vast amount of profound and obscure pharmacological knowledge was now familiar to you. This manual, rewarded by the system, was truly a good thing. It contained dozens of ancient elixir formulas for cultivation and healing. The manual also recorded some massage techniques for acupoints and meridians. Alchemy. Given Su Qinghe's current financial situation was still unrealistic, but the massage techniques you were particularly interested in. In the short term, this massage could relieve muscle soreness and accelerate the recovery of ki and blood. If used long term, it could not only expand the meridians in the body, but also greatly increase cultivation speed. So you turned your head, looking at Su Qinghe, who seemed a bit dazed. Hey little Qinghe, you've been cultivating for so long today. Doesn't your whole body feel sore? Doesn't it hurt everywhere? Seeing Su Qinghe nod, you revealed a sly smile, seeing how hard you've worked. As your dear Lord Ye, I can't bear to see you suffer so much. So I'll reluctantly lower myself to give you a massage. At the same time, your restless skeletal claws were still waving in the air. No, no. Su Qinghe frantically shook her head. Her entire body already curled up under the covers. Seeing her reluctant look, you helplessly spread your hands. This long-lost massage technique of mine may not make you the strongest in the land tomorrow, but it will definitely leave you full of energy. Others would beg me to massage them, but I wouldn't even move a finger. You just don't appreciate what you have. Su Qinghe thought of the true Yuan breathing method you had taught her tonight, and finally poked half her little head out. Really, what bad intentions could a little skeleton have? You acted completely innocent. Then I'll leave it to you, Lord Ye. Su Qinghe finally let down her guard. She naturally wouldn't be shy with her little skeleton. In a flash, you were already beside Su Qinghe. Your two claws also landed on her back, finding a few tense acupoints. You then precisely pressed them. The soreness caused by Su Qinghe's cultivation of the true Yuan breathing method miraculously disappeared under your precise acupoint massage. After about 10 minutes of massage, your ear caught Su Qinghe's soft breathing. She had already fallen asleep comfortably. You raised your hand to wipe the non-existent sweat from your forehead, feeling a bit proud. Finally done. Massaging this little master was truly a hard job. Then you turned off the light, lifted the covers, and slept beside Su Qinghe with a clear conscience. The next day, Su Qinghe led you to school. Although Su Qinghe had already signed an admission contract with the Magic Martial University in advance, after all, she hadn't taken the college entrance exam yet. As a senior in high school, she still had to come to school. Some girls in the class saw Su Qinghe arrive and couldn't help but say with a mocking tone, "The school beauty Su is different. If I had summoned a skeleton soldier, I might be too embarrassed to come to school today. Who says otherwise? I'd say school beauty Su is still lucky. Even so, she could still get a B-rank contract from the Magic Martial University. We can only envy her." But Su Qinghe seemed not to hear them and chose to ignore them, just silently leading you to her seat. Morning study time passed quickly. After class, Su Qinghe was called out by her homeroom teacher, Chen Chang, and Liu Piao, who had signed Su Qinghe with a B-rank contract representing a certain university yesterday, was already waiting outside. Then the two and a skeleton arrived at the meeting room. Liu Piao got straight to the point. "Qinghe girl, you already know. What I brought you this time is a B-rank contract. You don't need to read each clause one by one. I'll tell you directly. The contract rewards mainly consist of 3 parts. The first part is worth 2 million qi and blood potions. One bottle of qi and blood potion is equivalent to 10,000 Juzhou coins. There are 200 bottles here. The main effect of qi and blood potion is to make your qi and blood flow more smoothly and double the effectiveness when cultivating breathing techniques. After listening to Liu Piao's introduction, Su Qinghe felt her head buzzing. In her 3 years of high school, she only knew that martial talent was expensive, but she never expected it to be this expensive. According to her current martial level, she would need at least 2 bottles of qi and blood potion a day. That was 20,000 gone, just like that. Before Su Qinghe could recover, Liu Piao began introducing the next part. The second part is a set of D-rank techniques worth 6 million, including combat techniques, movement techniques, and 3 aspects of secret manuals. The third part is 2 million point cards, which can be used on the martial network to freely purchase any cultivation resources you need, or techniques and martial skills. If there are no issues, just sign the contract. Liu Piao handed the contract towards Su Qinghe. Su Qinghe gently took it, but didn't sign immediately. Instead, she subconsciously looked at her little skeleton first. Unfortunately, you are currently deeply immersed in Liu Piao's 2 peaks, unable to extricate yourself. This made Su Qinghe puff up her little face into a bun in anger. Seeing Su Qinghe's strange expression, Liu Piao didn't understand, and immediately asked her what was wrong. Fortunately, you finally reacted at this moment, and quietly poked Su Qinghe's waist from behind, signaling approval. Only then did Su Qinghe, with a flushed little face, carefully sign her name on the 3 copies of the contract. This little movement didn't escape Liu Piao's notice. She couldn't help but look at you with a playful gaze. This little skeleton, was it really just an F-rank summon? In one night, it actually made little Qinghe so fortunate. Could it really have something special? After settling the contract matters, Liu Piao left the meeting room. Su Qinghe let out a long breath. The weight in her heart finally lifted. But just then, the principal and the dean of students walked in, briefly explaining their purpose. They were actually giving Su Qinghe a 500,000 scholarship. The principal explained the school knew about your family situation. Having just awakened your martial talent, you definitely need a lot of resources. Yesterday, after discussion among the board, they collectively passed a special grant for your use. Su Qinghe's first reaction was to refuse. After all, the B-rank contract had already made her feel extremely grateful. But after repeated persuasion from the school leaders, Su Qinghe finally accepted the money, because she knew how resource-consuming her future cultivation would be, and she still had to deal with a college entrance exam in a month. It was precisely because the school took such good care of her that she couldn't afford to slack off. On the college entrance exam in a month. Next, Su Qinghe returned to the classroom for class. Unlike her usual dazed-looking class, Su Qinghe appeared extremely serious, meticulously taking notes. The morning passed quickly. In the afternoon, there was a school-wide strength test. Homeroom teacher Chen Xiang looked around the class and said seriously, "Given that you've basically just awakened your talents, the test content won't be too complicated. Only testing and evaluating from 3 aspects: chi and blood level, explosive strength, and limit speed. The results of this test will determine your development direction for the next month. I hope you take it seriously." The scene shifted. Chen Xiang led all the students of Class 1 Senior 3 to the sports field of Qianjiang No. 1 High School. Before the test began, Su Qinghe thoughtfully found a small stool for you, so you could rest. This couldn't help but attract envious glances from the male students around. How was it that they lived worse than a skeleton soldier? After Class 1 Senior 3 was in position, the proctor began the test according to the name list order. Number 1, Gao Yuan. At the sound of this name, the class couldn't help but stir. The first one was actually the class second. How were the rest of us supposed to compete? Brother Yuan has good talent. Plus his family is well off. I reckon even Goddess Su will be outdone by him now. The boy named Gao Yuan quickly walked up to the key and blood testing device. About 5 seconds later, a number key and blood level 2.3 appeared on the display. Then Gao Yuan came to stand before the strength tester, quickly assuming his stance, adjusting his body position. Then he suddenly exerted force. The number on the instrument shook rapidly. Strength 123 kilograms. Next, Gao Yuan didn't stop and walked to the track entrance. This event was a 50-meter speed test. His final result was 9.6 meters per second, chi and blood level 2.3, strength 123 kilograms, speed 9.6 meters per second. This couldn't help but make the principal and dean on the stands sigh with some admiration. This student in the same class as Su Qinghe is also a good prospect, with the potential for top universities. Yeah, his family can provide resources, and he's willing to work hard. He's indeed a promising talent. The entire testing process took about 5 minutes. Number 2, Shu Ruoting. Chi and blood level 1.5. Full strength 72 kilograms, speed 8.54 meters per second. Number 3, Meng Hao. Chi and blood level 1.8. Full strength 94 kilograms, speed 9.01 meters per second. Next, the students who took the stage. No one surpassed Gao Yuan's score until a name was called. Number 36, Su Qinghe. As the proctor's voice fell, everyone's eyes turned towards Su Qinghe. Even Gao Yuan was no exception. 5 seconds later, the data key and blood level 2.7 appeared on the testing screen. The moment this number appeared, it instantly caused an uproar. This result left everyone present far behind. The girls who had been gossiping about Su Qinghe in the morning now consciously shut their mouths. But before one wave subsided, another rose. Strength 178 kilograms, speed 10.53 meters per second. Not only were all the students stunned, even the 3 school leaders on the stands were shocked. Overwhelming, complete dominance. It had only been a few days. Just 5 days had passed since the martial awakening ceremony. But at this moment, Su Qinghe still didn't know what kind of psychological shadow she had left on others. She just skipped back to your side. Just then 2 notification sounds rang. Dear Miss Su, your package has arrived at the Qianjiang No. 1 High School Security Office. Please pick it up in time. Dear Miss Su, your bank card ending in 1726 has received 500,000 Kyushu currency. Please confirm in time. It was the resources from the Magic Martial University's B-rank contract and the 500,000 scholarship from the high school that had arrived. You and Su Qinghe went to the security office together. Inside the office lay a box with the Magic Martial University emblem. On the bottom right corner of the box was the recipient's name, Su Qinghe. After the security guard confirmed the recipient information, Su Qinghe smoothly took the resource box away. After returning home, Su Qinghe looked at the resource box with burning enthusiasm and couldn't wait to open it. As the box opened, what came into view was a neat row of chi and blood potions. Above them was a point card with 2 million on it. Where rich Su Qinghe jumped up in joy. What's there to get excited about? There's more stuff at the bottom. You're reminded. Hearing this, Su Qinghe dug further into the bottom of the box. At the bottom were 3 compartments. 2 of the compartments each held a manual. They were 7 fist palm and instant step. Clearly Liu Piao Piao had specially chosen these martial techniques and movement techniques for Su Qinghe. As for the middle compartment, when opened at first, showed a display screen forcing Su Qinghe to choose a weapon. This immediately put Su Qinghe in a dilemma, so she immediately turned to you for help. You're a girl. Brandishing swords and staffs or swinging hammers doesn't suit you. If you ask me, the most important thing in choosing a weapon is elegance. How about choosing a sword? Upon hearing this, Su Qinghe nodded thoughtfully. Then sword it is. At the same time, the moment Su Qinghe made her choice, the LCD screen on the compartment also disappeared, replaced by a manual called Evil Moon Sword Art. After Su Qinghe had received all the contract resources, the system prompt automatically appeared in your mind. Detected contractee Su Qinghe. B-rank contract resources received. Resource feedback in progress. Ding! This critical multiplier is 5 times. You'll receive 5 times the resources of Su Qinghe, resource reward. Complete detailed explanations of all B-rank techniques on the continent. The next moment, you had mastered all B-rank techniques, including but not limited to combat techniques, movement techniques. All content integrated. The D-rank techniques Su Qinghe had just received were even easier for you, having had experience once before. You naturally knew the benefits of these things. Of course, it was to urge your little master, so you turned your gaze to Su Qinghe, who was still happily reading the manuals, seeming to feel your gaze. Su Qinghe also turned her head to meet your eyes. However, when she saw you take out the stick from yesterday, Su Qinghe immediately understood what was about to happen next. Recalling everything she had experienced last night, Su Qinghe couldn't help but shudder. She quickly dropped the 3 manuals in her hands, picked up 2 bottles of qi and blood potion and drank them down. As the potion entered her body, soon Su Qinghe felt her whole body heating up, as if there was an energy rushing wildly through her body. Her blood also churned. Su Qinghe immediately went to the special training mat, assumed her posture, and began today's cultivation. After your strict guidance last night, today Su Qinghe's movements were much more standard. But in the eyes of a strict teacher like you, there was no room for any flaws. So today, little Qinghe still received quite a few loving whips. Pull this muscle in a bit. How is it solved? Old problems solved, new ones appear. And here, must maintain 45 degrees. Why is it 3 degrees over again? Always pay attention to details. 2 hours later, detected contractee, Su Qinghe's cultivation increased by 1.3 levels. Cultivation feedback in progress. Ding. This critical multiplier is 5 times. You will receive 5 times the cultivation progress of Su Qinghe. You have been raised to level 5. The following process was the same as last night. You massaged Su Qinghe, helping her eliminate the soreness caused by cultivation, and Su Qinghe comfortably began reading the 3 newly acquired manuals. The next day, after the usual routine of going to and from school, you and Su Qinghe didn't go straight home, but planned to go to the martial training ground. The training conditions at home were limited, but a professional martial training ground was different. Not only did it have advanced enclosed training rooms, but also specialized combat simulations. You and Su Qinghe followed the navigation, walked for about 10 minutes, arrived at the base of a magnificent, towering building, Qianzheng No. 1 Martial Arts Club. Passing through the gate, Su Qinghe calmly took out from his pocket that black card with 2 million points. Card swiped successfully. B-rank permission unlocked. Instantly, everyone in the lobby looked over. Who is this? Having B-rank privileges here. Looks like a high school student. I've spent no less than 10 times here. And today I actually get to meet a big shot with B-rank access permissions. Suddenly I feel more valuable myself. Su Qinghe led you past the gate. But before taking 2 steps, the familiar electronic voice came from behind again. Card swiped successfully. B-rank permission unlocked. The whole place erupted. Seeing 2 B-rank permissions in one day, the lobby of the martial building could no longer remain calm. Someone recognized the newcomer Chen Shi. That's Chen Shi from Qianzheng Lingual High School. Su Qinghe, stop right there. At this moment, Chen Shi quickly stepped forward, coming before Su Qinghe, reaching out to block her way. For a moment, the atmosphere was thick with tension. The surrounding crowd looked ready to enjoy the show, because for 3 years of high school, Su Qinghe had always been hailed as the #1 genius of Yujiang City. And Chen Shi was the one who had been suppressed by Su Qinghe for 3 full years. The eternal second place. First meets second. Looks like there's going to be a good show today. Chen Shi spoke first with a mocking tone. I heard that your B-rank contract was given to you by the Magic Martial University as charity. I also got a B-rank contract from the Imperial Capital University, much more legitimate than yours. Chen Shi said this with great pride. He had awakened a B-rank summon, not comparable to Su Qinghe's trashy skeleton soldier. At the same time, he thought his psychological tactic would have already pierced Su Qinghe through and through. But the girl before him showed no signs of anger. Please don't block my way. I need to go train. Only Chen Shi remained with hollow eyes, his finger pointing in the air, even trembling slightly. Just you wait, Su Qinghe. Let's see how long you can keep your #1 genius seat. Su Qinghe ignored him and led you into the martial training room. On a shelf in the corner of the martial room were various weapons for her to choose from. This was completely impossible in that cramped old residential district. Su Qinghe then sat down on the training mat. After 2 nights of correction, today she was already able to operate the breathing method in the most efficient way. And every time, just as her stamina was about to run out, she would pick up a longsword from the weapon rack and practice. Starting from the simplest techniques, then gradually moving from simple to complex. Slowly her proficiency with the sword grew higher and higher. In just 1 afternoon, Su Qinghe's ki and blood level had risen from level 4 to level 5, but the cost of such rapid improvement was a massive consumption of qi and blood potions. In just 1 afternoon of training, 42 bottles of qi and blood potion had already been consumed. You also, because of Su Qinghe's cultivation feedback, rose to level 6. Just as Su Qinghe was about to sit down again to practice the breathing method, you spoke up to interrupt her. Your qi and blood level has now reached level 5. And today's qi and blood potion effect has become increasingly weaker. Go to the virtual ranking battle to practice your combat experience first. Virtual ranking battle was a special combat simulation unique to the martial training ground. Participating in ranking battles would record the participants' results. Reaching silver rank would give a 100,000 Kyushu coin reward. Reaching gold rank would give 300,000. If you could achieve a 1-0 win streak, there would be an additional 500,000 reward. Upon hearing this, Su Qinghe quickly adopted your suggestion, heading to the 6th floor of the martial training room, where the virtual ranking device room was. Inside the room was a huge machine. In the middle of the machine was a human-shaped outline. After Su Qinghe entered the human-shaped recess, the surrounding gaps were quickly filled. Each device would adapt to the user's body shape. For the most realistic simulation, the machine began to operate. Consciousness link. Su Qinghe felt herself pulled into a vast white space. At the same time, a mechanical prompt sounded. System matching in progress. Match successful. About to enter virtual ranking battle. Please prepare for combat. Soon the surroundings began to change. This time her location was a desert gobi, and Su Qinghe's opponent this time was a burly man wielding a mountain-cleaving blade. But seeing his opponent was an adorably cute girl. The burly man licked his lips obscenely. Lucky me. This match I actually got a beautiful woman. How about you just surrender? Don't cry when you get beaten later. But the burly man's teasing didn't arouse any ripples in Su Qinghe's heart. At this moment she was staring intently at the opponent, her hands already starting to break out in cold sweat. After all, this was only her first real battle. No matter how proficient she was outside, here she still felt nervous. The burly man struck first, raising his mountain-cleaving blade with both hands, leaping straight up. He slashed down at Su Qinghe. No skill, all brute force. The mountain-cleaving blade was a weapon suited for wide sweeping movements. In a contest of strength, a sword would certainly be at a disadvantage, so Su Qinghe didn't block directly. So his mountain-cleaving blade had no point of purchase, and could only slide down along the edge. Then she used the scabbard to brace against the blade. Seeing this, Su Qinghe immediately pulled back, and began looking for a chance to counterattack. Just then, you emerged from the swirling sand. Having witnessed the entire scene, you lightly shook your head. When Su Qinghe was training in martial arts and practicing sword techniques, you had already noticed many of her shortcomings, but practicing sword techniques and breathing methods were different. Without actual combat as a foundation, no matter how much you told Su Qinghe, she would just be like listening to a heavenly book without any clue. That was why you had to participate in the virtual ranking battles. Seeing Su Qinghe create distance, the burly man quickly steadied himself, trying to close in again. However, the same move naturally wouldn't work on Su Qinghe again. Having seen this move once before, Su Qinghe immediately crouched and thrust forward, piercing the masked man's throat through. The masked man seemed utterly incredulous, his eyes wide as if about to bulge out. He couldn't even see how he had lost. With the mechanical electronic tone sounding, ranking battle victory. Battle points plus 100. Reaching 1,500 battle points would automatically promote. The masked man then dissolved into data and vanished. Only you and Su Qinghe remained in the scene. Lord Ji, I did pretty well just now, didn't I? Su Qinghe said joyfully as she looked at Lord Ji emerging from the sand. But you broke off a rib from yourself, and mercilessly struck Su Qinghe from behind. Su Qinghe let out a soft cry, holding the numb spot. She looked at you at a loss. You sternly lectured with your skeletal face. Pretty well, you say. When that person swung down the first time, you had many ways to instantly kill him, yet you chose the most wasteful way to evade. And did you only learn sword techniques? Combat was never a joke where one move could dominate everything. With that, you had already assumed a stance, waving at Su Qinghe. Attack me like that person just did. Hearing this, Su Qinghe forgot her grievance, and immediately obeyed. The sword she swung down was easily deflected by your skillful redirection. By the time she reacted, you had already aimed the tip of your sternum at her heart. You even symbolically poked a certain spot, making Su Qinghe both embarrassed and annoyed, but she didn't dare show any dissatisfaction. So she could only puff her little face into a bun to express her displeasure. Again, but this time, you received the sword in Su Qinghe's manner, then struck out with a palm, once again hitting the mark. Su Qinghe lost again. Again, Su Qinghe lost to you in various ways again. After that, the results were all the same. You won every time. But Su Qinghe also grew rapidly after being repeatedly dominated by Ning Ye. Although she lost every time, she could already block 3 of your tricky moves. Seeing that you had taught enough, you had Su Qinghe start her second battle. The second simulation environment changed from desert to a city street. This time Su Qinghe's opponent was a burly man wielding a spear. Su Qinghe also lost the nervousness of her first battle. Taking a deep breath, she quickly entered combat mode. For the first 3 rounds, neither Su Qinghe nor the burly man gained any advantage. But in the 4th round, Su Qinghe figured out the opponent's attack pattern. Quickly finding a weakness, she finished the opponent with 1 move. Ranking battle victory. Battle points plus 100. Third match. Su Qinghe faced an enemy using a whip. Each of the opponent's attacks was very tricky, keeping Su Qinghe constantly on the defensive. But fortunately, Su Qinghe was able to minimize the damage she took each time, finally seizing a moment when the opponent's stamina waned. Su Qinghe found an opportunity for a fatal strike. Ranking battle victory. Battle points plus 100. During the break, Su Qinghe checked her combat attributes. Weapon proficiency F rank 60%. Sword skill proficiency E rank 23%. Movement proficiency F rank 78%. Only 3 battles. And my combat proficiency is already this good. Su Qinghe couldn't hide her joy. This made her feel that your previous whippings didn't hurt as much. Not only that, Su Qinghe also knew that she could improve so quickly, all thanks to her Lord Ye. So, just as Su Qinghe was about to get up and interact with you, you interrupted her. Rest enough. Continue practicing. Because of this, you even earned the nickname of Steel-Hearted from Su Qinghe. Helpless. Su Qinghe could only get up again and head back to the virtual ranking device. 66 battles. Su Qinghe had hardly encountered enemies using the same equipment, so her combat experience also improved significantly. The result was also an undisputed 9-win streak, undefeated. But Su Qinghe didn't become proud of this, because she noticed that as her win streak grew, the opponents she faced became increasingly formidable. Each one had rich combat experience. Taking a deep breath, Su Qinghe started her 10th ranking battle. At the same time, Chen Shi, who was also training in the same facility, had also finished his training for the day. Phew, that's enough for today. Training anymore wouldn't bring much improvement. Suddenly, Su Qinghe's image appeared in his mind, whether it was the humiliation of being suppressed by her for 3 years, or the disdain he felt today. All made Chen Shi extremely restless after training. Chen Shi urgently needed to vent. Suddenly in his mind, appeared the people he had defeated in virtual ranking battles 2 days ago. A cruel smile spread across his face. It's time. Time to go practice on those poor souls in the ranking matches. Today I will crush them completely. Don't blame me, blame Su Qinghe. With that, Chen Shi and Su Qinghe started a ranking match at the same time. The news that Chen Shi was going to play ranking battles spread quickly throughout the martial arena. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Everyone go to the virtual ranking seats. Chen Shi is about to live stream virtual ranking battles again. I wonder which unlucky souls it will be today. I still remember yesterday that guy who was only let go after kneeling and begging for mercy. Absolutely ruthless. Influenced by his B-rank summon forest, Chen Shi's strength had improved by leaps and bounds. Using his powerful summon, he dominated the ranking matches. Combined with his summoner skills, few could last more than 5 moves against him. In just 2 days, he achieved a brilliant 9-win streak. I didn't expect. This time I have more viewers than the previous 2 times. After entering the simulation space, Chen Shi casually played with his summoner's palm, humming a cheerful tune. Then I'll have to put on a good show. Just then, a figure walked out of the void. The newcomer stood gracefully with a sword on her back, looking very much like an ancient female warrior. It was Su Qinghe. But because the virtual ranking match allowed appearance changes, Chen Shi didn't recognize her. It was just that for no reason. He felt an immense pressure that faintly made it hard for Chen Shi to breathe. Could it be Su Qinghe? But Chen Shi quickly shook his head. He knew, to participate in virtual ranking battles, one must reach level 4, Q, and Blood. He'd only been at 2.7 Q and Blood level yesterday. How could she have reached level 4 today? 3, 2, 1, start. As the starting virtual characters dissolved into a data and disappeared, both sides moved at the same time. But Chen Shi didn't try to dodge at the start. Instead, he charged straight at Su Qinghe. This move caught everyone off guard. The audience in the stands, their hearts instantly sank, because it was well known that a summoner fighting a martial artist in close combat was like an egg hitting a stone. Just as they were about to start criticizing, Chen Shi, who was mid-charge, eerily revealed a conspiratorial smile. In an instant, an arm-thick branch suddenly shot out from one side, aiming straight for Su Qinghe's waist. The previous opening was actually a trap, but Su Qinghe remained fully focused and didn't relax because of this move. So the moment the branch appeared, Su Qinghe used instant step to push off the air. Finally, as if getting a foothold, she spun in mid-air, narrowly dodging the forest's attack. Chen Shi smiled playfully, fast reaction, but it's really a pity that you happen to be fighting me in this scenario. I can say, I have all the advantages of time and place. Seeing this, the audience was stunned for a moment. The scene instantly erupted. As expected of Chen Shi. What a great sales pitch. He almost took the ranking match right there. That feigning weakness tactic was well played. But this opponent seems to have some skill too. That tricky, angled attack just now was actually dodged. Su Qinghe chose not to respond to Chen Shi's teasing. But after dodging the first attack, she immediately began preparing a counterattack. And Chen Shi also realized this opponent was strong, no longer planning to play around. He quickly gave the forest the next attack command. Su Qinghe drew her sword, blocking the forest another powerful attack. Then stepping on a branch, she pushed off. The already short distance between them was shortened even further. Chen Shi could clearly see Su Qinghe's intention. She wanted to engage in close combat. The moment Su Qinghe closed in, Chen Shi immediately chanted an incantation, his hand gradually transforming into a limb of the forest. He threw a fierce attack in Su Qinghe's direction. A whistling sound cut through the air. Su Qinghe quickly leaned back to dodge. but this exposed an opening behind her. Chen Shi didn't miss this perfect opportunity. Smash. The tree behind Su Qinghe suddenly grew branches, smashing fiercely toward her face. Everyone's hearts were in their throats at this moment. This strike was unavoidable. Was she going to lose? Or was my memory not good enough? No, I can't lose. Lord Yi worked so hard to guide my training. I have to find a way to break through. At this moment, Su Qinghe's mind kept flashing scenes of sparring with you, trying to find a way to break the situation. Suddenly, she thought of the first time she sparred with you. When you were her opponent, you used a strange arc with your bone, which was exactly the key technique of the Evil Moon sword art. Evil Moon Su Qinghe's peripheral vision quickly calculated the distance between her and her opponent. Then her gaze became determined. 2.5 meters enough. Perhaps thinking Su Qinghe was surely defeated, Chen Shi didn't take any defensive measures. In the last 0.1 seconds before the branch hit Su Qinghe, a flash of swordlight passed. The branch that was rapidly falling towards Su Qinghe's face suddenly stopped. Chen Shi still didn't understand. Just as he was about to look up and ask his summon what it was doing, he suddenly felt a chill on his neck. A suffocating feeling arose. Just as he reached to cover his neck, the virtual device had already transported him out of the battle space. Not only was Chen Shi's mind blank, even the people in the audience were also stunned. Before they could even see clearly, how did Chen Shi lose? Then what about my bet? This girl's sword technique is so strange. What kind of freak is she? Ranking battle victory. Battle points plus 100. Congratulations contestant, you have achieved a 1-0 win streak. You are eligible to receive 500,000 Kyushu coins. This bonus will be deposited into your virtual account. Available for withdrawal at any time. Hearing the mechanical electronic tone, Su Qinghe finally let out a long breath. Although the last battle of the 1-0 win streak was very close, Su Qinghe felt very fulfilled. She didn't disappoint Lord Ye's expectations of her. After 10 battles, it was already late at night. Su Qinghe packed up with you and prepared to leave the martial building. But when she reached the entrance, Su Qinghe saw Chen Shi again. He naturally noticed her too. Chen Shi hadn't hidden his appearance in the ranking matches, so Su Qinghe had recognized Chen Shi from the very first match. But Chen Shi didn't know. Chen Shi was full of frustration and had nowhere to vent. He quickly stepped forward to block Su Qinghe. Su Qinghe, do you know how many consecutive wins I got? In the virtual ranking battles, 9 wins, a full 9 wins, just one short of 10 wins. If it were you, could you do it? Hearing this, Su Qinghe's usually indifferent little face suddenly showed a hint of a smile. She teasingly replied, that last move was pretty good. Chen Shi's mind went blank. He froze in place. By the time he reacted, Su Qinghe had already led you away. Meanwhile, Su Qinghe walked home. Recalling the movement of her last sword strike, she immediately opened the data and checked her skill level. Weapon proficiency B rank 34%. Sword skill proficiency D rank 1%. Movement proficiency E rank 57%. She never expected that in just one night. She had raised her skill level to D rank. She unconsciously took your hand and swung it back and forth. Lord Ye, I'm so glad I have you. Of course, you replied with a smug tone, although today's win streak was happy. Soon, Su Qinghe's face became worried again. In just 2 days, 42 bottles of qi and blood potion were already gone. At this rate, they would run out soon. You patted the girl from behind, comforting her not to worry. As long as you rank up in the virtual ranking battles, you'll get rewards. Streak rewards are even better. The girl nodded. She could clearly feel how quickly she was consuming qi and blood potion. So she had to perform exceptionally in the ranking battles to get the bonus, and not just live off her savings. At the same time, what you and Su Qinghe didn't know was a video titled The Eternal Second Place was spreading online. Once posted, it was quickly widely shared. From Chen Shi's initial exposed flaw, to Su Qinghe's clever counter, to the decisive counterattack. The whole video was full of highlights and twists. Soon someone uncovered Su Qinghe's real identity. Overnight, Su Qinghe became famous for her beauty and skill. Chen Shi was also jokingly called the eternal second place by netizens. The next day after class, Su Qinghe, as usual, took you to the martial building for training. Still the same routine. Taking potions, training, practicing, repeating over and over, until the effect of the qi and blood potion diminished. After consuming another 30 bottles of qi and blood potion, detected contractee Su Qinghe's cultivation increased by 0.8 levels. Cultivation feedback in progress. This critical multiplier is 7 times. You will receive 7 times the cultivation progress of Su Qing. You have been raised to level 7. Su Qinghe was also satisfied with her qi and blood improvement, and happily started today's virtual ranking battles. But the next 5 battles were not as easy as yesterday. The opponents were almost all experts with 1-0 win streaks or more. Each battle took over 10 rounds to win. Ranking battle victory. Battle points plus 500. Congratulations. Contestant, your rank has been promoted to silver rank. You are eligible to receive 100,000 Kyushu coins. This bonus will be deposited into your virtual account. Available for withdrawal at any time. Back outside the virtual pod, Su Qinghe received the bonus information from the ranking promotion match, but before she could celebrate, she saw you on the side with a wooden stick waiting for her as usual. Lord Ye, what is this? Su Qinghe blinked at Ning Ye and asked from the bottom of her heart. You took a sword from the weapon rack and tossed it to Su Qinghe. Do you know why you struggled so much in these matches? Before Su Qinghe could answer, you told her the answer. Because your sword isn't fast enough, and not fierce enough. Hearing you say that, Su Qinghe's gaze instantly became serious. Through the system you had mastery of all B-rank techniques, but you couldn't directly teach them to Su Qinghe. However, you could find many flaws in Su Qinghe's D-rank techniques, and modify and improve them, to make them perform beyond D-rank level. So this is a flaw. Su Qinghe's flat stomach was poked. This is a loophole. Su Qinghe's rounded thigh was struck. Pay attention here too. Su Qinghe's delicate face was pinched. As Su Qinghe felt the flow of blood in her body during each sparring session with you, she found it very clear, and could distinguish. The changes in her power output were gradually being guided. Slowly, Su Qinghe's mind became calm. Every ounce of power in her body was gradually being controlled by her. She could already fully unleash this power, more perfectly. An hour later, after the special training, Su Qinghe sat in the virtual pod again. The next 5 battles, she felt much more relaxed, easily ending them in under 10 rounds. Ranking battle, victory battle, points plus 500. Congratulations contestant, you have achieved a 2-0 win streak. You are eligible to receive 500,000 Kyushu coins. This bonus will be deposited into your virtual account, available for withdrawal at any time. Watching her steadily rising ranking points and win count, Su Qinghe's eyes sparkled with joy. But what Su Qinghe didn't notice was, during her virtual ranking battle, a figure sat in the spectator seats. Watching her closely, her combat aura was more stable, her sword technique sharper, her movements more fluid. The moves she used were not something D-rank techniques could achieve. Liu Piao analyzed every move of Su Qinghe's battle, and unexpectedly found that Su Qinghe's techniques had already exceeded the limits of the original techniques. Could she be trying to change them? No, not change, but upgrade the techniques. Thinking of this possibility, Liu Piao's heart couldn't help but skip a beat. A girl who had just awakened a few days ago had not only raised her skills to the limit of the techniques, but had even started trying to improve the techniques herself. It seems it's time to show my superiors something. These days, because she had recruited a student whose summon was only F rank, Liu Piao had faced countless scorn and pressure from her superiors. Luckily, little Qinghe was doing well and didn't disappoint her sister. After bathing that night, Su Qinghe lay lazily on her warm little bed, the fan blowing beside her, making her feel very relaxed. But tonight she tossed and turned, unable to sleep, feeling like something was missing, until she saw you sitting by the window, leisurely drinking milk to supplement calcium. She suddenly sat up. Lord Yi, aren't you going to give me a massage tonight? You crossed your legs and said with a slightly tired voice. Sigh, for some reason. I feel very tired today. Take a day off. Even a donkey from the production team wouldn't rest like this. Su Qinghe complained. But you still didn't move. Seeing you wouldn't budge, Su Qinghe quickly got out of bed, came behind you, and shook your shoulder blades back and forth. Lord Yi, please give me a massage. Without your massage, I can't sleep tonight. Lord Yi, please. I'm so tired from training today. Please help me. After a series of coquettish pleas, you finally reluctantly got up. I really can't do anything with you. Lord Yi is the best. Seeing this, Su Qinghe immediately flipped back onto the bed, lying face down, her little legs swinging, seeming in a good mood. Under your expert massage techniques and precise acupoint control, Su Qinghe gradually fell asleep. But you fell into thought, because after the past 2 days of training, you noticed Su Qinghe's improvement speed had noticeably slowed down. Yesterday she spent an entire afternoon just to consume the effect of the chi and blood potion, but today it only took 3 hours for the potion to become ineffective. You weren't really feeling tired and wanting to rest for a day, but were thinking about which prescription among the 13 heavenly meridian acupoints would be most suitable for Su Qinghe. After weighing the options, you decided to use a prescription called 7 Fragrant Bone Pill. Its effect was somewhat similar to Qi and Blood Potion, capable of increasing Qi and blood level. The difference was, this pill could simultaneously strengthen bones and muscles, requiring the user to reach level 8 Qi and blood before it could be used. After feeling Su Qinghe's bones and the meridians on her back, you quickly confirmed that this prescription wouldn't affect her negatively. Then you took Su Qinghe's phone, opened the Magic Martial online store, and started searching F-rank Royal Spirit Grass, E-rank Mugwort Leaf, E-rank Gold Essence, D-rank Beast Bone Fragments, and more. This set actually cost 200,000. After discount, it was still 180,000 points. No choice, beautiful girls are expensive. Let's buy 4 sets first to test the effect. You place the order decisively. The little rich girl's Magic Martial store points suddenly decreased by 900,000, leaving a balance of 1,050,000. Another 50,000 was spent at the Martial building. The next day, after the homeroom teacher's martial theory class, Su Qinghe received a message. Dear Miss Su, Your package has arrived at the Qianjiang No. 1 High School security office. Please pick it up in time. This message confused Su Qinghe. She wasn't someone who liked online shopping. Why would there be a package? Don't look. I bought it. It cost you 900,000 points. After you clarified, Su Qinghe let out a sigh of relief. Phew. It was bought by Lord Ye. But after a moment, she finally realized something was off. Did I just hear a strange number fly by? 900,000. Su Qinghe suddenly jolted and asked, "That's right, 900,000. You answered again." Su Qinghe looked at her. Magic Martial store points which had suddenly halved. Her heart seemed to be bleeding, but thinking it was spent by Lord Ye, she felt much better. After picking up the package, you and Su Qinghe went to the Martial building. You specially chose a private training room with an alchemy lab. After settling Su Qinghe in, you walked into the alchemy lab alone. It was fully equipped, with an alchemy furnace mortar and precision scale, basically meeting all alchemy requirements. You calmly took out the materials for the 7 fragrant bone pill and started step by step. In just 2 hours, a batch of 8 pills was completed. When you walked out of the alchemy lab, Su Qinghe was already practicing her skills. You gave her 1 pill to take, then told her to start the breathing method. Su Qinghe followed instructions and swallowed a pill the size of a thumb joint. The pill dissolved in her mouth, starting slightly bitter, soon followed by a sweet aftertaste. After going down, it immediately took effect. Su Qinghe felt a powerful energy brewing inside her. After about 5 seconds, the energy finally burst forth, and then Su Qinghe's ki and blood level began to skyrocket again. After a moment, she stood up again, feeling her muscles tense and swell slightly, and the crisp sound of bones cracking. Detected contractee Su Qinghe's cultivation increased by 1.1 levels. Cultivation feedback in progress. This critical multiplier is 3 times. You will receive 3 times the cultivation progress of Su Qinghe. You have been raised to level 8. You were very satisfied with the effect of the 7 fragrant bone pill, and immediately set a small goal for Su Qinghe. Let's go. Participate in the ranking battles. Aim for a 3-0 win streak today. In the following battles, through proficient application of B-rank combat techniques and movement skills, Su Qinghe could handle her opponents with ease. Ranking battle victory. Battle points plus 500. Proficiency D-rank 21%. Sword skill proficiency E-rank 74%. Movement proficiency D-rank 40%. Su Qinghe's 3 techniques. Skill proficiency was also steadily improving, and this scene was also observed by Liu Piao in the stands. At this moment, a flame of excitement rose in her eyes. She didn't hesitate to take out her phone and sent the footage recorded through the virtual recorder to Li Xingyuan, the Vice Principal of Magic Martial University in Magic Capital. Inside the Vice Principal's office at Magic Martial 5 Universities, Li Xingyuan was still approving the special admission lists from all over Kyushu and official documents. The sound of his phone made him glance sideways. Sender Liu Piao. What is this woman contacting me for now? Li Xingyuan opened it curiously. It turned out to be 15 battle videos. At this moment he was swamped with work. He had no time to watch videos. But thinking it was from Liu Piao, Li Xingyuan frowned slightly. Still opened it. The first video showed a bronze 1-0 win streak match, but this didn't stir any reaction in Li Xingyuan. People with bronze 1-0 win streaks were everywhere in Kyushu, not to mention those from noble families. Even in ordinary high schools, there were quite a few. However, as he opened each video one by one, his brows gradually furrowed. This person seems not simple. After silver 2-0 win streak, Li Xingyuan was completely unsettled. He shot up from his chair and called Liu Piao. Where are you now? Li Xingyuan's voice was very excited, even trembling slightly. A slightly mischievous voice came from the receiver. Qianjiang No. 1 Martial Arts Club Virtual Room number 1812. If you don't come soon, you'll miss it. After saying that, Liu Piao hung up. Hearing the address, Li Xingyuan ignored the remaining documents and immediately made a call. Old Shu, quickly. Prepare a supersonic plane to Qianjiang. Right now, immediately. Another 30 minutes passed. Li Xingyuan finally arrived at Virtual Battle Room 1812. There was only Liu Piao sitting quietly inside, arms crossed watching the battle below. Li Xingyuan sat down 1 seat away, calming his excited mood. He pretended to be calm and asked how many consecutive wins now. 29, tying Yu Wenhao's record. Liu Piao replied. Li Xingyuan's gaze never left the battle scene before him. Yu Wenhao, a famous teenage genius across the entire Blue Star, during his senior year in virtual ranking battles. With his superb skill level, he achieved 29 consecutive wins. In the gold promotion match, he faced a gold expert and narrowly lost by 1 move. At the same time, setting the highest virtual ranking win streak record on Blue Star. 29 wins. Could it be that Su Qinghe has C-rank techniques? Li Xingyuan wondered. No, that's the main reason I called you here. Liu Piao's expression was serious. She only has D-rank techniques, but all her skill proficiency has already surpassed D-rank level. Hearing this, Li Xingyuan's eyes widened. How is that possible? Techniques for a dancer are the foundation of combat. The higher the technique level, the higher it raises a dancer's skill ceiling. Like Yu Wenhao back then, He trained a set of E-rank techniques to C-rank proficiency and achieved an astonishing 2-9 win streak. But Su Qinghe has trained D-rank techniques to C-rank level. Li Xingyuan opened the video again. This time he watched every move carefully, without any slack. The more Li Xingyuan watched, the more shocked he became, the more excited he grew. In every battle, he could see Su Qinghe's improvement. She was gradually breaking through the limits of the techniques, discovering even more powerful skills. A genius, an absolute martial genius. I have to say it's all thanks to you, Liu Pao. You have a good eye. You spotted this uncut gem at a glance, Li Xingyuan said with great excitement, but Liu Pao curled her lips and muttered quietly, I wonder who it was. Who a few days ago said I picked up a useless mascot. With a B-rank contract, the news that Blue Star's teenage genius Yu Wenhao's record had been tied spread quickly to the ears of the leaders of various martial universities stationed in Qianjiang. Everyone mobilized all resources to search, soon pinpointing the specific location. Before long, many figures appeared in virtual battle room 1812. Which school's genius is it? If the record is really broken, we must do our best to recruit them. Such an outstanding student in a small city like Qianjiang. I want to see what kind of level this is. Fighting all the way to gold with consecutive wins. Each university leader had their own thoughts, coming here to watch, and their actions were all noticed by Li Xingyuan, who began to scheme as well. Soon the scene below began to change, indicating the battle was about to start. Under everyone's expectant gaze, two figures appeared in a rainforest scene. One of them was Su Qinghe. The other figure had a slender build, piercing eyes, and held an iron fan, looking very relaxed and at ease, not showing much nervousness. Seeing the newcomer, the audience erupted instantly. Isn't that Chen Shuo from the imperial capital? Now the opponent's 3-0 win streak is in jeopardy. Indeed, although Chen Shuo is only a senior now, his skill level has already reached C-rank mid-level. What's more, he cultivates both techniques and magic. This 3-0 win streak record probably won't be broken. What a pity. In the arena, Chen Shuo looked at Su Qinghe's record with a light gaze. You actually made it to 29 wins. Scared. Impressive. But unfortunately, you met me. How about you surrender? At least you won't lose so badly this way. But facing his teasing, Su Qinghe remained indifferent, not showing any interest in communicating with him. The moment the ranking match officially began, almost instinctively, Su Qinghe stepped on the air, and her figure vanished from the spot. The next moment, Su Qinghe had appeared beside Chen Shuo. Evil moon suddenly flashed from an angle. That seemed impossible. However, just as Chen Shuo was pushed to a dead end by Su Qinghe's sword, a light smile curled at the corner of his mouth. He simply uttered the word open, then vanished from the spot, reappearing silently behind Su Qinghe. This was a spatial mage's technique. Below, the audience gasped. Facing such a fierce attack, Chen Shuo also put away his casual demeanor. He unfolded his fan. The sharp edge also slashed towards Su Qinghe's neck. Almost the moment Chen Shuo struck, Su Qinghe had already lowered her head. The sound of a blade cutting through the air sounded from behind her, taking a few strands of hair. This made Su Qinghe's scalp tingle. Fortunately, her combat experience was rich, and she narrowly dodged the blow, though not fatal. If it had hit, her combat ability would surely be affected. The first round ended without a winner. After a brief pause, both figures vanished, and the second round began. Su Qinghe continuously used her movement techniques to circle around Chen Shuo, while the latter used the lightness of his weapon to keep defending, occasionally using spatial displacement to launch a surprise attack. But each time Su Qinghe accurately predicted it. After 5 minutes, both sides used various tricks, but neither could gain the upper hand. To the audience, it seemed the two were evenly matched, but Su Qinghe knew she had actually been at a disadvantage the whole time. The opponent could make countless mistakes and use spatial abilities to recover, but if she made even one mistake, she would be infinitely disadvantaged. After 5 minutes of battle, Chen Shuo had also abandoned his initial underestimation. He had originally planned to completely read Su Qinghe's moves, so he had been in a defensive stance, engaging Su Qinghe. Now he was ready to switch from defense to offense, no longer holding back. I admit you're strong, but it's time to end this farce. The next moment, Chen Shuo's figure suddenly vanished. Su Qinghe's nerves immediately tightened, her hand gripping the sword, slightly sweating, but no one noticed. A skeletal figure was moving through the water, quietly approaching their battle position. About 5 seconds later, a figure appeared in front of Su Qinghe, catching the girl who had been on high alert, guarding against the 3 directions behind and beside her. Completely off guard. Out of muscle memory, she instinctively swung her sword, but in this state, her strike was already a beat too slow. Chen Shuo's iron fan had already cut through the air, toward the girl's neck. In an instant, Su Qinghe could foresee her own end. Disappointment, despair, helplessness. All kinds of complex emotions intertwined. Unconsciously, tears welled up in Su Qinghe's eyes. After all, she was still a young girl who had never experienced the world. Had she let Lord Yi down again? But not only her, everyone in the audience also shook their heads regretfully. In the end, they still couldn't witness the scene of surpassing that genius. But at that moment, a figure suddenly burst out of the water, appearing behind Chen Shuo without warning. He held a half-arm thick wooden stick. With lightning speed, he slammed it onto Chen Shuo's head. With the sound of the stick breaking, Chen Shuo collapsed, losing consciousness. A mechanical electronic tone sounded at this moment, announcing who the true winner was. Congratulations. Contestant, your rank has been promoted to gold rank. You are eligible to receive 400,000 Kyushu coins. This bonus will be deposited into your virtual account, available for withdrawal at any time. Congratulations, contestant, you have achieved a 3-0 win streak. You have broken the Blue Star record. You are eligible to receive 1 million Kyushu coins. This bonus will be deposited into your virtual account, available for withdrawal at any time. Congratulations. Contestant, the system detects you are still a minor. You have entered the Blue Star Prodigy rankings, Global 6,748th, Kyushu 1,892nd, Hangzhou Province 259th, Qianjiang City 1st, but now Su Qinghe had no mind to look at those. After winning, she immediately left the battlefield as soon as she stepped out of the virtual pod. What greeted her was a small skeleton soldier. The moment she saw you, Su Qinghe could no longer hold back the tears of disappointment in her eyes. She knelt on the ground, hugging you and sobbing. At the same time, the audience in the stands had already turned to stone, as if time had frozen. Liu Piaopiao's beautiful eyes were wide open, as if trying to pop them out. Li Xingyuan's fists were clenched, veins bulging, trying to convince himself this wasn't a dream. Everyone else had their mouths wide open, their jaws nearly dropping to the floor. What just happened? Did something flash by? Someone asked quietly, their tone still trembling with lingering fear. It seemed like a skeleton soldier jumped out and knocked Chen Shuo unconscious. The speaker themselves could hardly believe what they said, but after the extreme silence, came the wild cheers of the audience. We witnessed history. Yu Wenhao's record has been broken. When did he summon that skeleton soldier? Why didn't we see him use any summoning spell? Enough talk, I want all the information on this 3-0 win streak. Genius immediately. I'm going to recruit him to our school. But what none of the university leaders present knew was that the girl they were all desperately trying to recruit was the very same one they had casually dismissed with a D-rank contract on the Awakening platform just a few days ago. Only 2 people present knew her true identity. Li Xingyuan muttered to himself. Yeah, how could I forget? No, we all forgot. She is a dual-talent awakener. We only focused on Su Qinghe's martial arts, but ignored that she had also awakened a summon. Liu Piaopiao finally calmed down, a slight smile curling at her lips. At that time, no one thought highly of her, but she proved her talent with actual performance. Last night on the surface, Qianjiang City didn't see the same frenzy as 2 days ago, but there was an even more turbulent undercurrent. The next day, Su Qinghe woke up, feeling refreshed, recalling what happened yesterday, and looking at you beside her. Her gaze grew even softer. The big and small arrived at school, and saw Liu Piaopiao already waiting at the school gate. As usual, Liu Piaopiao got straight to the point. Let's go. We'll go up together. Someone wants to see you. Su Qinghe didn't ask further, just obediently held your hand, and followed Liu Piaopiao upstairs. As long as you were there, Su Qinghe felt at ease. The scene shifted to the meeting room. Inside sat a handsome middle-aged man, his gaze sharp as a knife, dressed in a well-fitted suit. Liu Piaopiao introduced him to Su Qinghe. This is our Magic Martial University Vice Principal, Li Xingyuan. Hello, Principal Li. Li Xingyuan nodded with a smile, then asked Su Qinghe. I came here specially this time. Do you know why? Su Qinghe looked confused. How would she know? So she shook her head blankly. Li Xingyuan maintained that warm and pleasant smile. Given your outstanding performance last night, I personally approved upgrading your original special admission B rank contract to A rank. Li Xingyuan also saw Su Qinghe's confusion and took the initiative to explain. This upgraded A rank contract won't conflict with your previous B rank contract. Consider it a brand new contract. It includes a full set of B rank techniques and martial cultivation resources worth tens of millions, including 5 million freely usable magic martial store points, plus a B rank Phantom Spirit Golden Pill. I won't go into detail about the B rank techniques and store points. The Phantom Spirit Golden Pill is used to activate the martial bloodline within your body, but the success rate isn't high, only 1 in 10. But once awakened, it will benefit your future ki and blood cultivation and skill improvement. Although you were staring at Liu Piaopiao's majestic peaks, hearing the term martial bloodline made you think of. When you gave Su Qinghe the 7 fragrant bone pill yesterday, you seemed to vaguely see a trace of martial imprint, but you didn't think much of it, and continued to enjoy the beautiful things in the world. Liu Piaopiao was slightly impressed. The value of this contract far exceeded ordinary contracts. After introducing everything covered in the A-rank contract, Li Xingyuan quietly watched Su Qinghe, who then looked at you. Whenever facing such important decisions, she would first seek your opinion. Seeing you nod, the girl immediately obediently picked up the pen and signed her name. After Su Qinghe signed the contract, Li Xingyuan seemed to have finally settled a matter. After saying goodbye to Su Qinghe, he strode out of the meeting room, his steps full of satisfaction. Then the 3 of them also stood up to leave. But just then the principal of number 1 high school came over with a somewhat serious expression. When he saw Su Qinghe, the principal looked as if he had found a savior. Su Qinghe, I finally found you. Come to my office with me. Su Qinghe and Liu Piao exchanged glances. The former didn't understand, but Liu Piao could already guess, just from looking at the principal's expression. Some shameless people are here to poach talent. The three followed the principal upstairs, entering the principal's office. The sofas inside were already full. Seeing these people, Liu Piao's gaze turned cold. Su Qinghe was no stranger to them either. She had seen them all at the summoning ceremony 4 days ago. They were the heads of admissions from various martial universities. Through a night of cross-referencing details, they had finally confirmed that the genius who achieved 30 consecutive wins last night was Su Qinghe from Qianjiang No. 1 High School. So early this morning, they had come to the principal's office of Qianjiang No. 1 High School, demanding that the principal hand her over. This gave the principal a huge headache, since almost everyone present was someone he couldn't afford to offend. He had no choice but to search the entire school for Su Qinghe. The principal ushered Su Qinghe to his seat. Seeing the main person seated, finally, an admissions director from one martial university spoke. Su Qinghe, it's like this. After discussion, our Lingnan Martial University still hopes that you will come to study with us. The standard and special admission contract as the base. Another director next to him snorted dismissively. On top of our first-tier contract, we'll add another 5 million worth of resources. Su Qinghe, believe me, coming to our Guangyu Martial University is definitely your best choice. A bunch of people spoke at once, revealing the resources they had applied for from their universities. But in the end, a single voice silenced them. Chen Jingwu from the Imperial Capital Martial University spoke. I think you should join our Imperial Capital Martial University. We offer an A-rank resource package, plus an upgraded B-rank resource contract. For your special admission, what do you say? Su Qinghe, consider it. As soon as he spoke, the surrounding directors fell silent. After all, the Imperial Capital Martial University was the wealthiest, completely beyond their reach. Su Qinghe sat in the principal's seat, watching the admissions directors below, like parrots, chattering noisily. She couldn't help but recall the scene at the summoning ceremony, when they had dismissed her without a second thought, and even kicked her while she was down. Even now, they still acted with an air of condescension and superiority, which only deepened her disdain. Su Qinghe lowered her gaze. Her small fists clenched tightly. No one could see her expression. Almost the moment Chen Jingwu finished speaking, she finally spoke. I'm sorry. I choose to refuse. After saying this, Su Qinghe took your hand and immediately stood up and left the principal's office, leaving only a group of martial university leaders staring at each other. Did I hear that right? Our conditions aside, he even rejected such generous treatment from the Imperial Capital Martial University. I wonder where he gets the confidence. How ungrateful. He even looked down on the Imperial Capital 5 universities. Back when Yu Wenhao achieved 29 consecutive wins, he only got a special admission contract from the Imperial Capital 5 universities, and he's still not satisfied. Liu Piao looked at the ugly faces of the leaders in the office, as if watching a group of clowns. Liu Piao, what are you still doing here? Seeming to notice someone watching the show, Chen Jingwu's expression darkened. It was clear he was angry. Liu Piao crossed her arms and said sarcastically, sorry. You crude warriors. Student Su Qinghe has already signed an upgraded special admission contract with our Magic Martial University. If you still want to poach her, then please pay 3 times the contract value. Liquidated damages first. With that, Liu Piao walked away with light steps, leaving only a triumphant shadow behind. Liu Piao's words were like thorns, piercing Chen Jingwu's ears. The student the Imperial Capital Martial University wanted was actually snatched away by another martial university. His expression darkened even further. As for paying liquidated damages to bring Su Qinghe back, he didn't even consider it. After all, Yu Wenhao was only worth 1 contract. Although Su Qinghe broke the record, she was far from. Liquidated damages worth paying 3 times. 3 times the liquidated damages already exceeded the value of an S-rank contract. Only a fool would pay that for Su Qinghe. On the other side, Su Qinghe returned to the classroom. After diligently completing the day's lessons, she followed Yu to the martial building for daily training. Today she consumed even more potions than yesterday. 40 bottles of qi and blood potion and 2 7. Fragrant bone pills only lasted 5 hours, before their effects became negligible. With the rise in level, it was easy to see that Su Qinghe's leveling was also slowing down. Then Yu and Su Qinghe sparred for a while, and returned home in the evening for Su Qinghe's daily massage session. The next afternoon, after class, Su Qinghe received a text message. Dear Miss Su, your package has arrived at the Qianjiang No. 1 High School security office. Please pick it up in time. It was the resources from the Magic Martial University's A-rank contract. After picking up the package, Yu and Su Qinghe immediately went to the martial building for training. The resource box this time was larger than before. It was divided into 3 layers. The second layer was auxiliary cultivation of medicinal resources. The third layer was the Phantom Spirit Golden Pill placed in a special medicinal box, and a set of B-rank techniques. B-rank martial skill, martial cloud palm. B-rank sword skill, 9-star 7 radiant sword. B-rank movement technique, moon shadow. After reading the technique descriptions, you who are proficient in B-rank techniques nodded approvingly. Magic Martial University had indeed treated Su Qinghe well. These 3 techniques were top tier within the B-rank range, and could all serve as substitutes for higher level techniques. Detected contractee. Su Qinghe's rank contract resources received. Resource feedback in progress. This critical multiplier is 7 times. You will receive 7 times the resources of Su Qinghe. Resource reward SS-rank Demon Eye. All S-rank technique detailed explanations. Demon Eye SS-rank. SS-rank Undead creature Dark Wing. The Demon Eye can intimidate undead creatures and terrify all races. You felt an itch in your eye sockets. Oh no, I'm growing eyes. A dark red golden light flowed through your eye sockets, but was quickly suppressed, returning to normal without Su Qinghe noticing anything unusual. You turned to Su Qinghe. Take the illusory spirit golden pill first. See if it works. Su Qinghe acknowledged, then opened the special medicinal box. Instantly a charming fragrance spread out, soon filling the entire martial training room. A water blue pill, with some white patterns, lay quietly inside. Su Qinghe didn't hesitate, and swallowed it directly. The next moment Su Qinghe frowned, immediately feeling as if she had eaten a large mouthful of wasabi. A sharp pain shot straight to her skull. She quickly sat cross-legged and began circulating the True Yuan breathing method, hoping to alleviate the pain caused by the Huanling golden pill. Unfortunately, after more than 10 seconds, it was still ineffective. And you watching Su Qinghe could clearly see a mark suddenly appear on her brow. First a faint red, then growing more prominent, finally slowly becoming a blood-red phoenix tail flower. At that moment, the system prompt sounded in your mind. Detected contractee Su Qinghe awakened. SSS-rank Divine Emperor Bloodline. Bloodline feedback. In progress. Demon God Inheritance first stage activated. Please Parasite Host urge the contractee to hunt fierce beasts to advance the inheritance. Complete the SSS-rank Divine Emperor Bloodline Demon God Inheritance. After these days together, you could see that Su Qinghe's skill advancement was fast, and her demand for potions was growing. At this moment, Su Qinghe was enduring the medicinal power impact of the illusory spirit golden pill. She felt as if she were in a blazing inferno. The surrounding space distorted from the heat. After a full 3 minutes, the burning pain finally began to subside. The phoenix tail flower on Su Qinghe's brow gradually faded, until it disappeared. The girl's brow relaxed. She let out a long relieved breath. The moment she opened her eyes, she saw a skeleton head, shaking left and right in front of her face, seeming to be examining something closely. Lord Ye, what are you doing? Su Qinghe quickly leaned back, supporting herself on the floor. She asked in surprise. Little Qinghe, is there something you're hiding from me? Your tone was suspicious, but you didn't press further. Instead, you sat down on the spot. No, there isn't, Su Qinghe replied confidently. She didn't know why. You would suddenly ask that question. Then how do you explain the phoenix tail flower that appeared on your brow? It can't be that you drew it on yourself. You looked particularly pleased, as if you had discovered a big secret. Phoenix tail flower Su Qinghe was stunned. Then she dropped her usual dazed expression and sat up straight, as if recalling some unpleasant memory. In just a moment, her eyes reddened slightly. Lord Ye, it's not that I wanted to hide it from you, but I thought it was a family matter, and shouldn't trouble you with it. Seeing this, you also put away your joking attitude. Aren't we family yet? You've already formed a contract with me. You're not planning to drive me away, are you? Su Qinghe recalled everything you had done for her these past few days, not only urging her to cultivate and sparring with her, but also giving her massages every night. The two of you were almost inseparable. This touched something deep inside her. Tears began to well up in her eyes. After composing herself for a while, she spoke with a hint of sadness. Lord Ye, do you know, I'm an orphan. You didn't speak. Waiting for Su Qinghe to continue, Su Qinghe continued talking to herself. My mother passed away when I was 9. The one who killed her was my own father, who had the Divine Emperor bloodline. My father is a bastard son of the Su family in the imperial capital, because he was always mistreated at home. He came to Qianzheng alone to make his way. He met my mother here. At that time, he had great ambitions, wanting to make his family regret their treatment of him. Through his martial cultivation, my mother worked 4 or 5 jobs a day for him, even sold off the family property, just so he could have an easier path in martial cultivation. Later, his martial talent proved exceptional, and he awakened a pure bloodline during his cultivation. After his family learned of this, they quickly came to find him, promising him great benefits, and arranging a marriage for him. As she spoke, Su Qinghe's eyes grew redder, tears like broken beads falling. I clearly remember his ruthlessness then. After slapping my mother down on the bed, he left the house without looking back. After that, he rose smoothly through the ranks, and is now the ruler of a new world. After he left, my mother became depressed day by day, her health deteriorating, until she passed away. The reason I trained so hard is to climb up step by step, to earn the right to stand before him and ask him why. By the end, Su Qinghe's voice was choked with sobs, but her gaze was exceptionally determined, listening by the side. You also felt a pang in your heart. That day you learned of the girl's resolve. You stepped forward and hugged this girl who was strong on the outside, but soft on the inside. gently stroking her head. In your arms, Su Qinghe's mood gradually calmed. Lord Yi, do you think I can do it? Of course you can. Even if one day you give up, I will still carry you and carve a bloody path to the new world. To ask him that question, Su Qinghe slowly left your embrace. Wiping the tears from her face, she smiled at you. Lord Yi, let's begin training. With that, Su Qinghe stood up, took the training resources and walked toward a hidden door in the training room. Inside was some equipment, specifically for using the 2 types of external auxiliary potions. At the same time, the system prompt sounded in your mind. As a qualified parasite, you must always understand everything about your host and be the worm in his stomach. Congratulations, you have received a reward. Demon God Inheritance 20%. You were slightly stunned, not expecting that listening to Su Qinghe's story would actually give you a reward. You glanced at your panel data and found that the progress bar for becoming a demon god, which had been at 0%, was now at 20% 2 hours later. Su Qinghe finished today's training and walked out of the training room. Because Su Qinghe had awakened the Divine Emperor bloodline, she consumed training resources even faster. In just 2 hours, 7 fragrant bone pills and 40 bottles of qi and blood potion had already lost their effect. Yet even so, she had only increased her qi and blood level by a meager 0.4. We need to find a way to make money. Otherwise your savings might be spent in less than 2 months. You said quietly. Su Qinghe looked innocent. She couldn't help it either. How about earning money through virtual ranking battles? You and Su Qinghe agreed immediately. After sparring with you for a while, Su Qinghe confidently walked to the virtual ranking pod. Match successful. This time Su Qinghe's opponent was a gold rank expert using a great sword. At first glance he seemed very ordinary, but when Su Qinghe confidently engaged him, she found he was not simple. Every move of his contained many details. The heavy greatsword in his hands was more like a kitchen knife, yet still exuded an imposing edge as he swung it. Su Qinghe struggled to cope, being pushed back step by step, unable to find any opening for a counterattack. Watching from the side, you could clearly see that, at this rank, it was no longer just about brute force and technique. Every move was a setup for the next. Su Qinghe couldn't find a way to break through. It wasn't until Su Qinghe could no longer hold on that you finally intervened with a surprise attack, securing the victory. After exiting the virtual pod, you and Su Qinghe reviewed the entire battle. For so, Su Qinghe's skill level didn't improve much. Recalling the opponent Chen Shuo she had faced earlier, who had a 3-0 win streak, with only C-rank mid-level skill, you suddenly understood. Could it be that skill levels above C-rank could no longer be easily improved through virtual ranking battles? Clearly, the plan to earn money through virtual ranking battles was no longer viable. After all, having you intervene every time wouldn't help Su Qinghe grow. But just then, Su Qinghe was scrolling through her phone and suddenly saw an official announcement. Urgently needed the shell of the red armored beast from the Beast Mountains for medicine. Reward 100,000 Kyushu coins. Requirement level 9 martial artist. Proficient in D rank or above skill level. Lord Ye, how about we go earn money at the Beast Mountains? Su Qinghe handed you her phone and asked softly, Beast Mountains. You glanced at the publisher. It was the official Qianzhang Martial Arts Association. You had been wondering where to find fierce beasts to complete your demon god inheritance task. This was perfect timing. You immediately agreed. Going to the Beast Mountains was a win-win-win situation. First, it would allow Su Qinghe to improve her skills. Second, it would let you advance the demon god inheritance. And most importantly, it would earn money. Early the next morning, you and Su Qinghe arrived at the Qianzhang Martial Arts Association in the city center. As soon as she entered the association building, Su Qinghe attracted many gazes. So young and already picking up missions at the Martial Arts Association. She looks like she hasn't even started university yet. Kids these days are all monsters. A couple of days ago, there was news that someone had broken Yu Wenhao's record. Sky envy these talented geniuses. Su Qinghe took you to the service counter. The receptionist was surprised by her appearance. So young. After Su Qinghe filled in all the information, the receptionist saw her ki and blood level, and her eyes widened in shock. 17 years old, 9.5 QI and blood level. Is this girl a monster? The receptionist suddenly remembered. The most popular video from 2 days ago. Wasn't the protagonist the very girl before her? I want to take the red armored beast mission. And also, the giant tooth pig and blood spider. It wasn't until Su Qinghe spoke that the receptionist snapped out of her shock. Wait a moment, let me record your information. After the receptionist finished entering the data, Su Qinghe took on a few more level 11 and 12 missions, until she had accumulated a total commission of 2 million. But at the same time, behind the glass window on the second floor of the Marshall building, a man with a scar on his face stood up slowly as he watched the figure below. After picking up the missions, Su Qinghe and you went to the equipment shop next door, buying some weapons. The various equipment on display was dazzling. A good weapon cost several 100,000. A full set of defensive gear would cost over 100,000 if it were entry-level weapons. The gear would be even more expensive. Considering durability, Su Qinghe chose a D-rank longsword and a set of D-rank defensive gear. Spending all her cash in one go, she couldn't help but feel a little melancholy. How does money disappear so fast? But just as you and Su Qinghe were about to leave after paying, a group of people blocked your way. There were 6 people in total, 3 men and 3 women. The leader was a scar-faced man named Wang Hu, with a pompadour hairstyle, looking menacing and not like a good person. The other 2 men were also rough-looking, while the 3 women were heavily made up and looked at Su Qinghe with jealousy. Little sister, I saw you took on quite a few level 10 plus missions. How about we team up? You see, the Beast Mountains are so dangerous. We can protect you and help you complete your missions. The scar-faced Wang Hu revealed a mouthful of yellow teeth as he spoke. Absolutely repulsive. Yeah. More people means more strength. We can look out for each other. And you're so pretty, you might run into people with bad intentions out there. That would be terrible. Zhao Shanchuan and Li Mei also chimed in. Facing these thugs, Su Qinghe simply ignored them and led you away from the equipment shop. But this time, the previously quiet hall began to buzz. Did Wang Hu and his group just get rejected? This girl is in trouble now. Should we warn her? Are you crazy? Last time someone warned her. Look what Wang Hu did to him. You know he's still in the hospital. This girl is in danger. With her ki and blood level growing so fast, Su Qinghe's 5 senses had also improved. The surrounding gossip reached her ears, making her frown. Feeling the girl's nervousness, you squeezed her warm little hand, reassuring her not to worry. The girl relaxed a little. The 2 of you walked outside, boarded a flyer, and headed toward the Beast Mountains. The scar-faced Wang Hu watched Su Qinghe leave. His expression darkened. That girl is really something. So fiery. If I weren't a woman, I'd be tempted, Li Mei said with envy. Whatever, once she's on the bed, it's all the same. Acting all chaste and pure, another woman said sourly, jealous. Then Zhao Shanchuan leaned in and urged, boss. This girl is way prettier than the ones we've had before. A rare opportunity. Yeah. And I just checked. Her koi and blood level is only 9.5. And there's no big Su family in Qianjiang. Another lackey immediately reported the information he had gathered. After hearing them out, a cold smile slowly spread across Wang Hu's face. Let's go follow them. The Beast Mountains lay south of Qianjiang City, at the southernmost tip of Hangzhou City, a relatively remote location. Leaving the association building, Su Qinghe and Ning Ye followed the navigation route on her phone. On the outskirts of Qianjiang City stood a massive wall, to defend against beast and alien invasions, strictly speaking. Once you left the wall, you were already in the Beast Mountains, but the outermost area only had ordinary animals, not even entry-level fierce beasts. The red armored beast they were looking for wasn't there. They had to go another dozen kilometers deeper. After more than 10 minutes, the 2 finally arrived outside the city. Before them stretched a continuous mountain range. The scenic interior hid many unknown dangers. The red armored beast was to the southeast, about 5 minutes away. Su Qinghe adjusted their direction according to the map. Soon the flyer reached a dense forest. There was no road ahead. Now they had to go on foot. If the flyer entered the forest and got damaged by beasts, not only would it be a hassle to return, they would also have to pay for the damage. Su Qinghe and Ning Ye got off the flyer. She immediately grabbed her longsword and put on her combat suit. Entry-level combat suits were mostly made of nanomaterials. The D-rank combat suit Su Qinghe had chosen not only had strong defensive power, but could also mobilize the energy within the equipment to use skills equivalent to a level 1 fire mage. But it would consume a lot of mental energy. For someone with summoning talent like her, it was essentially an extra mage skill. The benefits were obvious. The 2 walked into the forest one after the other. It was eerily quiet, only the rustling of grass as they moved. Are all the beasts here so cautious? Ningyu was very curious. We're almost at the red armored beast territory, Lord Ye. Be careful, Su Qinghe reminded him nervously. She had often seen official reports about martial artists being attacked in the Beast Mountains, and this was her first time in such a dangerous area. So she was bound to be a little nervous. A faint sound of something cutting through the air suddenly came. A blue-white figure lunged at Su Qinghe. Without hesitation, the girl swung her sword at the figure. After her 5 senses were enhanced, her judgment of the surroundings had become faster. With just one swing, the figure was split in 2. The head and body separated. It was a level 3 striped snake. Su Qinghe looked at the body on the ground and let out a sigh of relief. After this ambush, she gradually grew accustomed to the environment, and her nervousness eased considerably. The 2 of them kept alert for potential dangers. While searching for their mission targets, before long they spotted the first red armored beast by a pool of water. This beast evolved from a pangolin, but was much larger, about 3 to 4 times the size of a normal pangolin. Its most obvious feature was the red scales on its back, seeming to sense someone approaching. The red armored beast suddenly raised its head, looking at the figure in its sight. A red gleam flashed in its eyes. Its killing intent revealed. Beasts were called beasts because they were influenced by the alien aura from the dimensional rift, which amplified their natural savagery. Now the red armored beast had only one thought in its mind: Today's lunch was settled. So the red armored beast didn't hesitate at all. It leaped directly and pounced at Su Qinghe. Seeing the beast's fierce momentum, Su Qinghe chose to dodge first, not engaging head-on. Seeing its attack miss, the red armored beast grew enraged and immediately launched a second wave of attack. This time Su Qinghe didn't dodge. She swung her sword, the weapon clashing with the claws, producing sparks. Feeling the force of the level 9 beast, Su Qinghe quickly withdrew, not fighting with brute force. Fighting a beast was completely different from virtual ranking battles. The former was driven purely by instinct, while the latter focused more on technique and combo transitions. After creating distance, Su Qinghe quickly realized this, so she immediately changed her tactics. Turning from passive to active, pushing off with her feet, she swung the sword down vertically. All her ki and blood power was channeled into the weapon. This strike had the sweeping force of a mountain-cleaving blade. The sword slashed onto the red armored beast's crimson scales, shattering them in all directions. The wounded beast didn't give up. After a low growl, it immediately pounced at Su Qinghe again. The two exchanged blows for 3 rounds. Su Qinghe handled them nimbly, while the beast's injuries grew more numerous. Even a low-intelligence beast, after a few rounds of combat, knew that the lunch before it was not someone to mess with, so it immediately started playing dead. Su Qinghe, seeing it stop moving, was about to approach and check, but unexpectedly the beast suddenly burst up. The girl raised her sword, ready to fight, but the beast wasn't attacking her. Instead, it scurried several meters behind her and immediately started digging, its speed rivaling an excavator with a boost. In no time, it had burrowed underground. Don't run. Su Qinghe hadn't even reacted before it had escaped through the ground. This made the girl stamp her feet in frustration. Ningyi watched from the side with amusement, not showing any intention of helping. Lord Ye, it ran away. Su Qinghe, who had failed her first hunt, came to Ningyi dejectedly to complain. It's not stupid. Knowing it can't beat you, why wouldn't it run? Not only is it not stupid, it's quite smart. Knowing to play dead and trick you, Ningyi couldn't help but laugh. The girl grew even more frustrated. Skill proficiency, C rank 3. Movement proficiency, C rank 4, but this trip wasn't without gains. Su Qinghe's skill level had improved considerably after this battle. Fighting beasts had no fancy tricks, but required better coordination of techniques. After all, a single mistake could mean injury. Of course, the worst outcome was death on the spot. Su Qinghe quickly recovered from her disappointment and began searching for red armored beasts again. Before long, she encountered another by a different pool. I've seen this episode. The red armored beast runs away. Ningyi pointed at the beast and teased, Lord Ye. The girl said with a mix of embarrassment and annoyance, before taking the initiative to attack the beast. After 3 exchanges, the girl skillfully took down the beast before her. Seeing the beast lying motionless on the ground, having been fooled once before, Su Qinghe didn't hesitate to finish it off. Phew. Finally completed one mission. Su Qinghe wiped the fine sweat from her forehead and contentedly checked the next mission. Huh, that's strange. The red armored beast is in this area, but why can't we find anyone? Zhao Shanchuan checked the beast distribution map. Frowning in thought, Su Qinghe had only left less than 5 minutes ago. This area. They searched back and forth for a few minutes, but saw no sign of Su Qinghe. Based on their years of experience dealing with beasts, an average level 9 martial artist taking down a red armored beast wouldn't be a 3-0-0 round battle, but it wouldn't be easy either. It would take at least over 10 minutes. Moreover, the red armored beast was a faker. One moment of carelessness and it would burrow away. Given her age, this should be her first time in the Beast Mountains. She's already completed the red armored beast mission this quickly. Another sharp-faced companion named Song Ren asked, could she be doing other missions first? Li Mei guessed. Among the missions she took, the red armored beast was the easiest. Who would leave the easy mission for later and choose the difficult ones first? While everyone was guessing, a woman's voice called from not far away, there's a red armored beast corpse here. Come take a look. Everyone gathered and examined the sword marks on the beast, confirming it was killed by the girl earlier. Knowing this result, they looked at each other, all seeing shock in each other's eyes. Didn't expect her to be a genius girl. Such a girl is more interesting to conquer. Wang Hu smoothed his pompadour, his eyes burning with aggressive intent. Mark all the locations of her remaining missions. We'll definitely run into the little beauty today. Congratulations. Host killed level 9 red armored beast. Demon God inheritance progress increased. Seeing the system prompt before him, Ningyi was full of energy, carrying the red armored beast's shell. He followed Su Qinghe deeper into the Beast Mountains. Although they started with the red armored beast, they didn't plan to follow the order of hunting beasts by level. Su Qinghe walked while planning the route for the remaining missions. Let's go find the dark blood spider here first, then head west for the giant tooth pig and later go south. The route was clearly planned. Just as Su Qinghe was finishing up, she suddenly felt her vision darken. Looking up, a spider 8 times larger than her head was hanging upside down on a single strand of silk before her, its 8 eyes spinning, seeming to size her up. Level 12 beast, dark blood spider. Su Qinghe was shocked, but dared not make a sound, her body frozen like a statue. What to do? At this rate, she wanted to negotiate with it. Could she just take a vial of its blood? Su Qinghe comforted herself, but this clearly wouldn't work. After confirming the other was of a different species, the spider immediately sprayed venom at Su Qinghe. The moment she saw the spider's eyes shift, Su Qinghe had already moved to dodge, which was why she wasn't hit. But the sound of something like oil hitting a pan came from behind. Su Qinghe didn't need to turn around to know what happened. If she had been sprayed, she'd probably never show her face again. Seeing the beast so decisive, Su Qinghe held nothing back and immediately drew her sword. A strand of web was shot out. Su Qinghe precisely slashed at it, only to find the web was unbreakable. Not only that, the glistening thread seemed to have weights on both ends. Wrapping around her sword, half the blade was soon entangled, losing its edge, but Su Qinghe couldn't afford to focus on removing the web, leaving her at a disadvantage. Seeing the human was held back, the dark blood spider shook its 12 legs and crawled toward her. Seeing the trouble, Su Qinghe couldn't find a way to deal with the web for the moment. She could only raise her bandaged sword and gamble it all. But without its edge, when the sword struck the spider, not even a single hair was cut, not to mention breaking the skin. The beast even twitched its antennae in satisfaction, then opened its mouth towards Su Qinghe's neck. Use fire. At the critical moment, Ningyi timely reminded her. Su Qinghe's mind cleared. A orange-red light gathered in Su Qinghe's right hand, pushing back the advancing dark blood spider. Seeing it retreat on its own, Su Qinghe immediately threw the gathered spell at her sword. Whoosh, the seemingly tough web melted like ice in magma. With her sword free, Su Qinghe raised it with unstoppable force and slashed toward the spider. The latter tried the same trick again, but Su Qinghe wouldn't give it the chance. Her spell was already prepared, precisely dissolving the incoming web. Although Su Qinghe was only a level 9 martial artist, after her bloodline awakening and Ning Ye's daily training, her physical strength could handle a level 12 dark blood spider with ease. With a way to break the stalemate, Su Qinghe was unstoppable. A series of evil moon sword art moves flowed seamlessly, leaving the dark blood spider unable to fight back. Seeing it was outmatched, the bloodthirsty beast retreated, continuously spraying web to test. Gradually it noticed that the human's flame couldn't always counter its attacks. Spurt, 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 spurt. Having figured it out, the dark blood spider went all out, spraying web like it cost nothing at Su Qinghe from different angles each time. Su Qinghe realized that her opponent had noticed the interval between her fire spells was slower than the spider's web speed, and she couldn't cut the threads. After a brief thought, she decided to switch from slashing to thrusting to deal with the increasingly dense web. Sure enough, the web wasn't as tough as she thought. As long as all force was concentrated on a single point, she could pierce through it. The faster the spider sprayed, the faster Su Qinghe thrust. The dark blood spider was confused. It didn't understand why, no matter how hard it tried to spray web, even drawing blood toward the end, it still couldn't overcome the human. After who knows how long, the spider stopped spraying, and Su Qinghe stopped her movements. Ningye immediately went to check. The spider's once massive body had shrunk to the size of a palm, looking like someone who had rewarded themselves 1,000 times in one night. Rewards are good, but not in excess. Ningye sincerely remarked, "Clap, clap, clap, not bad, not bad. That was a good fight." Just then, a voice came from the distance. "Congratulations, host, killed level 12 dark blood spider. Demon god inheritance progress increased. Good. I thought suicide didn't count." After confirming his progress had increased, Ningye looked toward the newcomer. Su Qinghe's joyful expression slowly faded. The smile didn't disappear, but transferred to Wang Hu's face. He clapped as he approached the two, his face full of flesh and brimming with smiles. Behind him followed 2 men and 1 woman. They had originally planned to follow to the giant tooth pig's location, but later decided splitting up was more efficient. The giant tooth pig was only a level 10 beast. 2 people could handle it easily. At worst, they could run. But the dark blood spider's web and corrosive venom required multiple people to handle. After weighing the options, they split into 2 teams. "You're following me?" Su Qinghe coldly questioned the 4. "How can you call it following? We're just protecting you from getting hurt." Song Ren teased. Su Qinghe didn't want to argue. She bent down to pick up the drained spider corpse, but Wang Hu stepped forward first. Flicking it with his toe, he caught the corpse. "Oh, what luck! A dark blood spider corpse. We just happen to have a dark blood spider mission too." With that, Wang Hu tossed the corpse to Zhao Shanchuan behind him. Su Qinghe was furious, her brows raised, glaring at Wang Hu. "Oh, the little beauty is even prettier when angry," Zhao Shanchuan said after catching the corpse, and everyone laughed. Su Qinghe didn't want trouble. After suppressing her anger, she took Ningyi to find another dark blood spider. 10 minutes later, with experience against the spider, Su Qinghe easily took down another one. Then Wang Hu appeared again, claiming the spider she killed for himself. "I forgot we have 2 dark blood spider missions. Don't be so angry. It's finders keepers, right?" The 3 behind watched with mischievous smiles as Wang Hu teased. Su Qinghe knew the beautiful girl before her wasn't escaping the boss's grasp today. Su Qinghe held back again. Triggering 2 dark blood spiders in the same area was enough to complete 2 missions. After another kill, Wang Hu appeared once more. "Enough." Su Qinghe's voice dropped to freezing point. This is to save trouble. For the next Dark Blood Spider mission, we can just hand it in directly. This is called being prepared. Wang Hu was still grinning. 3 strikes, Su Qinghe had tolerated it again and again. This time she finally couldn't take it anymore. She grabbed her sword. Moving like thunder, Wang Hu seemed to have anticipated her attack and leaned back early to dodge. Seeing she had attacked without warning, Wang Hu's smile finally vanished. He stopped hiding his intentions. Catch her, but don't kill her. Wang Hu stepped back and gestured, signaling the 3 behind to move first. Zhao Shanchuan had been itching to go and charged forward with his spiked club. The other 2 quickly followed, forming an encirclement, blocking all of Su Qinghe's escape routes. After a brief exchange of glances, they attacked her simultaneously. Su Qinghe remained calm, moving her feet slightly. She shifted her sword sideways, nimbly dodging Song Ren and Yang Shu's attacks, and blocking Zhao Shanchuan's club. After just one exchange, Wang Hu could see the difference. Though Zhao Shanchuan's group weren't experts, their ki and blood levels had reached level 10, and their skill level was D rank high. Yet the girl could handle their combined attack so calmly, showing her skill was at least C rank. Song Ren and Yang Shu, seeing their first attack miss, prepared to strike again. But Su Qinghe wouldn't give them the chance. She flicked her sword violently, sending Zhao Shanchuan staggering back, then thrust straight at the 2. A flurry of sword lights blurred into after images, falling on them like stars and rain. 9-star 7 radiant sword. Where the sword light touched, a dazzling 7 radiance pattern appeared, making it impossible to defend. With just one exchange, Song Ren and Yang Shu had over a dozen bloody holes on them and died on the spot. After dealing with them, Su Qinghe didn't stop. She turned with the evil moon sword art toward Zhao Shanchuan's position. He had just steadied himself, still reeling from his teammates' deaths, when the sword came from a tricky angle at his neck. He only felt a chill, then realized something was wrong. He dropped his club and frantically clutched at the gap in his neck. But blood gushed like a fountain through his fingers. Unstoppable. Zhao Shanchuan turned to Wang Hu in pain, wanting to beg for help, but not a word came out. Only waiting for death. Wang Hu had moved earlier, but still couldn't save Zhao Shanchuan. He looked at Su Qinghe with a dark expression, fury rising. His mountain-cleaving blade swung down at Su Qinghe. They were my brothers in arms. Before the words finished, the blade was already there. Facing the powerful blade, Su Qinghe used her sword to block, trying to reduce its force. But her physical strength was too far behind a level 15 martial artist's. The blow numbed her hand. Wang Hu didn't let her go easily. After one strike, he followed with 2 more killing moves, pushing Su Qinghe back, her arms completely numb, overwhelming force. Before absolute power. Even with superior skill, she couldn't find a good chance to counter. But after 2 minutes, Su Qinghe had no strength left. Her sword flew from her hand, sticking into the soil beside her. Wang Hu came to her with a fierce expression, his rough hand slowly reaching out. Just as it was about to touch her delicate face, he felt a chill on his back. Before he could react, a skeletal hand pierced through his back and out his chest. Thump thump! Wang Hu looked down in shock, seeing a still beating heart in the skeletal hand. Before he could understand, a faint sigh came from behind. I haven't even agreed yet. How dare you bully my little master? The voice seemed to come from the abyss, like death's whisper. Drip drip. Blood still dripped from the skeletal hand. Wang Hu stared at the heart in its grip. The image of the completely unremarkable skeleton soldier from their first meeting flashed in his mind. It was him. He couldn't understand how an insignificant skeleton soldier, under a level 15 martial artist perception, had silently come behind him and attacked. Before he could figure it out, Wang Hu felt his life force draining rapidly, his consciousness fading. His hand finally released the blade, falling freely and plunging into the soil. Ningyi slowly withdrew his hand, passing through Wang Hu's chest. He left the heart in its original place, returning what was his. Brother Tiger, so this is where you are. Just then, 2 women's voices came. From afar they had seen Su Qinghe defeated by Wang Hu.